So we posted a video
Yeah.
of us in the kitchen cooking gummies, and it's wild how confused people are about what's going on in Texas
Yeah.
as it relates to cannabis. So there's a ton of comments, and you can get on there, go look at the post and read the replies, but we thought that it would be beneficial to read some of the comments and clarify some of the points of confusion.
So Donna S. said, what is a serving and how long does it last?
Well, a serving as it states on the package is 1 gummy. However, we always recommend that people start with half because THC is an interesting substance and everybody's sensitivity to it is different. Some people need a quarter. Justin needs a quarter of a gummy.
Yeah, Justin does need a quarter of a gummy.
He's you know, a 6 foot plus tall man, and a quarter of a gummy's fine.
So for him, that's 2 milligrams.
It's 2 milligrams, yes, of THC. Each gummy has 8 milligrams of THC. So 1 serving size is 1 gummy. However, 1 gummy is probably going to be strong for a lot of people. So, and really with THC, it's all about getting the dose just right. The difference between the right dose and the wrong dose is everything. And a lot of people that have bad experiences with cannabis take too much.
Yeah.
You know, it's no different than alcohol. If you have a couple cocktails, it's going to be a different experience than drinking a handle of vodka, right? So the challenge, though, with cannabis is it's harder to dose because there's no standardization across the market. There's a lot of sketchy products out there, and most of the stuff out there is just maximum dose. Right?
Would you say like the variability in how much a milligram affects somebody is like wider than it is for alcohol?
I don't know, man, because some people can get hammered off 3 drinks, right? Yeah. So I think that alcohol is easier to navigate because it's so standardized. You know, even with all the different types of liquor, you got the proof rating. You know what you're getting into. If you crack a beer, there's some, 5 to 8% alcohol, but there's some variants. Heavier beers are going to get you drunker faster or whatever. But it's like it's pretty. Everybody knows what to expect. Nobody knows what's going on with cannabis, and I think that is the biggest. If there's any danger to cannabis, it's the lack of standardization and frankly, the lack of regulations.
So Nate K said, I live in California and thought Texas was still illegal.
Certain forms of cannabis in Texas are still illegal. High THC flower that you would buy in rec states is not legal in Texas. But what's legal federally and specifically legal in Texas is hemp-derived cannabinoids. Hemp being the same exact plant as marijuana, they're both cannabis. Hemp is just certain strains of cannabis that have low levels of THC naturally. But when you extract the Delta-9 THC from the hemp, you can then make a product that is within the legal limits and has plenty of THC for a psychoactive effect.
Samantha Hoisington E. said, chill country, only grapefruit? Yuck. Keep me in mind when you come out with another flavor, please.
You please some of the people some of the times. Can't please all the people all the time.
That's exactly what Bob Marley said.
No, I just made that up right now. Yeah, grapefruit, I guess, is a controversial fruit.
All right, let's go more controversial.
However, we will have some new delicious flavors coming real soon.
Real soon. All right, let's get into it with Roy C.
Oh, Roy, I remember Roy.
Drugs are drugs. Shame on you for making them like candy for children. If you have to use them to get through the day, ... then there's a 12-step program that will help you break the chains of addiction.
You're in that program, aren't you?
Roy, I am in a 12-step program. Have been for a long time. So Cyrus Nasir came to our rescue with Roy and said, Roy, kids can't buy them, just like they can't buy a wine cooler that tastes like fruit juice. Alcohol causes more problems than CBD, as marijuana isn't legal in Texas yet. Uh-oh, Cyrus is also confused.
Cyrus is a little confused.
Yeah.
Yes, these do have CBD in them. They also have CBG in them, both non-psychoactive cannabinoids. However, they also have psychoactive levels of delta-9 THC, which is what everybody is looking for when they're searching for cannabis products typically. We actually will have some THC-free gummies here pretty soon, but, you know, if you want to feel those feels. All of us but Chris.
Let's see here. Debbie said she uses these to sleep, and it's the only way she can get any sleep. She takes Restorol and 2 different painkillers at night. Without the gummy, there would be no sleep. Not all of us are junkies. I don't know what to say about that to Debbie, but John S. said, fake ass weed, laughy face, laughy face.
Right. I remember John. I believe my reply was, you couldn't be more wrong, John. John is wrong. This is not fake weed. I'm not being mean. He's just factually wrong. We have recreational edibles fully legal in Texas. The problem is it's very unregulated. So you go into these vape stores and bootleg dispensaries, and most of the product on the shelf is trash. It's fly-by-night companies trying to make a buck using converted cannabinoids, using corn syrup, and they're just bullshit, right? It's like, it's not people that care about the product. It's people that are trying to make a bunch of money off of this hemp thing. We are taking the approach of being an actual legitimate company run by people that really give a shit about the products that we make. And our whole strategy is just to be fanatical about every aspect of the product, just like we have been with all the other products that we make.
Yeah.
And if you do your diligence, then you can make a product that stands up against anything you would get in a rec state. These are cleaner, made better than almost anything you would get in a Colorado, California dispensary. Because even in the legal states, it's still a lot of shady characters making
Using
these
really
products.
cheap products and ingredients, yeah.
Right.
Speaking of synthetics, Pitter Patter Son said Delta 8 question mark?
Not Delta 8. Delta 8 is interesting. So Delta 8 is a naturally occurring cannabinoid in tiny, tiny quantities in cannabis flower. In such small quantities that it would never be psychoactive naturally. So what some people figured out is that you can convert CBD molecules into Delta 8-like molecules. In doing so, you can create a psychoactive effect if you consume enough synthetic Delta 8. But the important thing to know is that every single Delta 8 product on the market that's psychoactive is made with synthetic cannabinoids. So we're using actual Delta 9, which also is confusing because people hear the deltas. I don't like the deltas. What you don't like is the Delta 8. Delta 9 is normal THC. That's, you go to Colorado and buy the finest cannabis bud, what you are consuming is Delta 9 THC.
Yeah.
From
Most
a
people
cannabis
don't
plant.
understand that
Most
yet.
people don't understand the distinction. The other confusing thing is in the hemp market, just like a lot of shady characters are using converted CBD into Delta 8, most of the Delta 9 products that say Delta 9 on the package is chemically converted Delta 9.
Right.
We're using actual natural Delta 9 extracted from the plant.
From hemp plants,
And so this is no different than what you would get consuming, you know, the best cannabis, the best marijuana on the planet.
All right, so these things say fast acting on them. What's the deal with that?
These are fast acting, and what that means is we're taking the THC and we're using a clean plant-derived process to encapsulate the individual THC molecules. Similar to a THC beverage, all these seltzers that are out there, it makes the cannabinoids water-soluble versus oil-soluble. Traditional gummies use oil-soluble cannabinoids, and that's why they take so long to kick in, and also why they're fairly unpredictable as to when they're going to kick in, and even unpredictable in terms of the strength and effects, because they're processing through your liver. And when Delta 9 THC processes through your liver, it's converted into 11-hydroxy THC, which is actually a slightly different high. There's a lot of comments about, I like smoking better than edibles. Edibles make me feel too lethargic. And so what's so cool about this, not only are they fast acting, but it's also a smoker's high versus your traditional 11-hydroxy edible high. And the way that it works is because we're encapsulating the individual THC molecules, they are so small that they absorb directly into the soft tissues in your mouth and digestive system before they even get to your liver. And in doing so, it kicks in 5 to 15 minutes. And like I said, it's a classic smoker's high. It's not a traditional 11-hydroxy edible high.
Yeah. We have, the previous gummies we made were amazing, but the biggest complaint we get from anybody about any edibles, not just ours, is sometimes it takes a long time to kick in. So then sometimes people end up taking more and then they overshoot the mark. And
again, back to what we were talking about with dosage, it's the most important. If you take too much, you're going to have probably a not good experience.
Right.
And anybody who's blacked out on alcohol understands the difference between a couple drinks and going too hard on alcohol.
On a handle.
The challenge with cannabis is it's easy to go hard because half a gummy versus one full gummy could be all the difference, right? Or half a gummy versus a quarter of a gummy could be all the difference. So we always recommend people start with we're at most half, maybe even a quarter. Not that these things are designed to send you into outer space, but some people's sensitivity to THC is just really high and they don't need very much to feel the pleasant effects that are commonly associated with cannabis. But I talk to so many people that are like, oh, I don't like cannabis. Sweet. And it's almost always because they had a bad experience taking too much.
And a lot of times it was after they were drinking.
Because you're eating homemade edibles. Exactly. Or you're eating homemade edibles, or like your friend has a giant bong, and it's like, that's not a good way to consume cannabis unless you are a heavy cannabis user, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a plant medicine. So dosing is super important. Like the dose makes the poison, right? Isn't that fortunately you can't die from these. So you could eat this entire box and you'd be fine, technically. Mentally you might need some time to recover.